So, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
So, this is our team. I am Diana Baby Distreza, and my team are April Dizon, Miss Lorraine Espirito, and Mr. Ricky Electric. So, before we proceed to our actual or proper discussion, let's play a game first. So all you have to do is guess the emojis or the words that are defined by these emojis. So first, we have here an emoji carrying a gift. So what do you think is the word that it implies?
Gifted.
Okay, let's see. Very good. That is gifted. Okay, next. What do you think is the word? It's child. Okay, it's child. Okay, next. What do you think is the word? Okay, so this is
Bombastic statement.
visual. Okay, next. What do we have here?
Musical.
Okay, let's find out. Okay, very good. This is musical. How about this?
Intellectual. Intelligence.
Intelligent.
Okay, very good. How about this?
Performance. Performing.
For me.
Okay, very good. Palakpakan natin yung ating mga sarili. Okay, so from the game that we have played, what do you think would be our topic for the day?
We will discuss about gifted students.
Okay, very good, Ms. Rika. So, we will discuss about the learners who are gifted and talented. So, before anything else, what is giftedness first? Please read Ms. Liza.
What is giftedness? Children who are gifted are defined as those who demonstrate an advanced ability or potential in one or more specific areas when compared to others of the same age, experience, or environment.
Okay. Kung kita nga gifted, ang isa ka bata, he or she demonstrate an extraordinary, when we say extraordinary, mas advanced pa kesa sa ordinary ng mga bata nga ka-age niya or ka-level niya sa experience. So, again, underline ko, advanced ability or potential. Okay? The first act that was sa law is Jacob Havett's Gifted and Talented Students Education Act for gifted children. So, muna siya bilong ang intellectual, creative, specific, academic, and leadership, performing, and visual art. So, muna siya unang nga naisulong nga batas for the benefit of gifted children. So, this is Jacob Havitz. He was an American lawyer and politician. He directs the Secretary of Education to make grants and contracts for programs or projects designed to meet the educational needs of gifted and talented children and youth, including the training of teachers or their supervisors. So, ginbuligan niya ang gifted children through implementing his act about gifted children nga i-train or i-meet ang needs sa mga gifted learners as well as i-train ang teachers to be a better facilitator sa mga bata. So, there are common questions that we encountered when we talk about giftedness. So, one of it is giftedness a disability? Certainly, giftedness is not considered a disability. Hindi siya disability. Kaya kung maghala kita nga disability, may kulang sa ilang parts, ilang lawas, or something may lacking. But some gifted students, although hindi disability ang giftedness, some gifted students may also have learning disabilities such as dyslexia, ADHD, or autism disorder. These students are known as twice exceptional or 2E children or students. So, hindi man ma-considered na gifted or hindi man ma-considered na ang giftedness disability, pero may mga bata nga may mga maliban nga gifted sila, may mga learning disabilities man sila. So, matawag ini sila na twice exceptional or 2E children or students. So, we have different types of giftedness. The first one is the visual arts giftedness that will be discussed by me. The second one is the music giftedness that will be discussed by Ms. Lorraine. And the third one is intellectual giftedness that will be discussed by Ms. April Deason. And the fourth one is the performing arts giftedness that will be discussed thoroughly by Mr. Ricky Adetre. So let us dive right into our visual arts giftedness. So we will discuss the following. Please read, Ms. Rika.
We will discuss the characteristic of a visual art gifted student. Second, what are the difficulties do visual art gifted students are and their parents face. Third, how do teachers facilitate visual art gifted learners?
Thank you. Okay, so first we will discuss their characteristic, kung ano ang ilang mga challenges, kung paano sila i-handle sa aton or sa mga teachers. So when we say visual art gifted, what comes into your mind first, Mr. Ricky?
For me, when you say visual art gifted, it talks about the students, how they are gifted when it comes to drawing something.
Okay, that's a good idea. So let's find out. Visual artistic gifted students are those students who often demonstrate talent in their chosen medium, whether it's sculpture, painting, pottery, drawing, or another area. They exhibit a strong sense of more advanced creativity in doing visual arts. So tamang hala ni Ricky kagina nga kung gifted ng isa ka bata in visual, he or she demonstrates an advanced potential in creativity sa mga drawing, sa mga sculpture, sa mga painting, kag sa iban pa nga visual arts. So, grabe ang iyang idea, though fluent lang katama, kag very natural. Marian Porath, in her research that was conducted in 1997, entitled A Developmental Model of Artistic Giftedness in Middle Childhood, performed an activity to test gifted students. The judges looked at the design and composition, technique, and elaboration of form. Kung ma-measure naton ang isa ka bata, hindi lang nato na siya ma-measure gid nga pawido-wido lang. It takes a lot of consideration as well as process nga ginaagyan. So here, may research gid naging obra for them to know kung ano gid bala ang kung sino gid bala ang gifted sa mga bata. So muni siya ang research ni Marian Porath, ang developmental model of artistic giftedness in middle childhood. So gitan-aw dito ang design at composition sila obra sa mga bata, ang ilang technique sa pag-obra, kag sa elaboration of form. So muna ang iya gin-consider na tatlo ka criteria sa pagpili kung sino abala ang mga gifted gid man nga mga bata. in visual art. So here is an example. So in the left side, it is a 13 years old war sculpture uses simplicity of line to express movement. So as you can see, or as you can notice, grabe na iyang ng pagiging artistic. Kay 13 years old pa lang siya, pero nakakahimo na siya sa mga unang bagay, di ba? Mahimo niya na ayhan kung isang 13 years old ka mo. No? Okay. So next, the next picture, a 13 years old drawing of a model from life shows an understanding of proportion and relation of wholes to parts. So as you can see, naka-drawing, gid siya sang art nga like 13 years old pa lang sa do hindi pa taganig sa nakabalo sang kung ano daw mga tawo-tawo na do aton pa lang napalaan stickman siguro. But they have demonstrated an advanced ability about it. So, we know na ang meaning, ang example sa giftedness in terms of visual. So, ano pa lang mga characteristics sa isa ka visually art gifted nga student? So, we have here the rapidity of development, extended concentration, being independent, committed, fluent idea, and calculating capacity. So first, let us go to the rapidity of development as one of the characteristics of visual art gifted. From the word itself, rapidity, madasig. So visual development of the gifted child in visual art is an accelerated pace. Madasig ang iya development sa visual art, sa pag-ubra sa mga art. Grabe ang iya idea, madasig ang pag-develop sa iya brain about that. Next, he or she have an extended concentration. He commits more time to a project and is highly focused. So, kung matawag naton ng gifted, visual art gifted individual ang nga bata, grabe ang iya focus when he has a project, for example, ang ginaobra kung visual art. Grabe ang iya ginahatag ng focus. It's because diri siya balaan niya nga diri siya bayad. Next, he or she is independent. Gifted in visual art when doing their artworks is very obsessed in thinking that they should finish their work without aid or any help. So, knowing na ang mga gifted students have a very high ego sa ilang self, nga nagapatigid sila nga kaya nila tanan, especially sa ilang field nga visual, for example sa visual art gifted. Kung hatagan siya dabi project or artworks, kaya niya himuon niya isa lang sa. He is very or she is very independent sa and obsessed in thinking nga kaya niya na tapuso niya isa lang sa. Next, visually gifted children or staying with an art project longer than other children. It's their only entertainment. So, they are very committed sa pag-ubra sa mga art na. It's because mo na ganito sila mayat.
Bago nila obra, kailangan super polished na
Yes, very polished it bago nila nang buyan na nila obra. It's because may ginatawag kita nga passion. May passion sila dira pag balaan nila sila self nga they excel in that specific area. Tapos, next characteristics, they have a fluent idea. Visually gifted children often have fast thinking when it comes to visual arts. The idea flows smoothly. Hindi sila yung trying hard nga ng kailangan pa nila kailangan pa nila magpanugdog. But then, sila ang ila idea, when it comes to visual art, naga-alalapaw lang na iya, naga-flow lang na iya naturally, nga ara na sila nga brain, nga basta hindi ko ma-explain ng, though wala, natural lang bala sila. Natural lang sila nga magpanugdog sa mga idea nga next nila i-apply sa next step, kung ano nila next step, or this or that. Okay, next. One characteristic also of visually art gifted is their calculating capacity. So this term coined by Howard Gardner, sino gani si Howard Gardner? Okay, very good. Siya ang nag-ano sa multiple intelligence. So, ang calculating capacity kuno is a superior ability to utilize past information in new context. So, ang mga visually art gifted, mayad sila. May calculating capacity sila mag-utilize sa mga past information about sa art para magamit naman nila sa sunod nila ng mga art. Okay, naintindihan ang characteristics of visually art gifted?
Yes po.
Okay, we have ilang ganit ka characteristics?
6.
6. What are those?
Rapidity of development, extended concentration,
Concentration, independent, committed, fluent idea, and calculating capacity. Okay, very good. So, since wala kita sang classmates kid, let's just fast track this game mechanics. Pero manami tani siya kay I will divide the class into 2 groups. Tapos mapili ko anong representatives for each group. Tapos each group will be presented with the 6 characteristics of visual art gifted child. Then in every round, 1 representative from each group will go to the reporter and the reporter will give 1 characteristic to them. Tapos, the representative will draw his or her interpretation about the characteristic on the board. Tapos, i-interpret sang members kinabilin. Pauna-una sila kung ano yung ma-interpret. Kaso, since wala kita classmate nga mayad, I will just fast track this. So, let us now move on to the difficulties of visually gifted learners and their parents. So, wala gid kuya may nakita nga sources nga showing gid yung specific nga difficulties kag challenges sa mga visually gifted learners and their parents. So, what I did is nagkadto ko sa mga researches. And I find out one research that talks about their challenges. So the research title is The Visual Art Gifted Child in Preschool and Early School Years. So muna siyang research title. Then it is written by Ursula Podobnik and George Selan on December 2021 in Slovenia. It talks about the selected indicators for gifted children of preschool age for visual art gifted children in their early childhood and how they behave. So, nakakita ko dito sa mga parts wherein gintal nila ang story sa mga visually art gifted children. Tapos, I find out about their challenges. So, before anything else, let me present to you the guide questions. So, before we read those challenges or stories, may guide questions ko danay nga pwede nyo ma-take note kaya answer na natin karon. You can just take a pic or ano. Okay, so here is the question. In preschool and early school age, children need to know that adults support and appreciate their activities. Agreement ka mo sina?
Yes.
Okay. So during the research, we observed Maha, whose visual art preferences became obvious early. So, ang karakteristik gina sa isa ka visually art gifted student or learner is that madasig ang iyang thinking ability or development sa visual art. So, naging obvious na in his or in her early age. So, si Maha ang aton nga star subong or aton gifted visually art gifted learner. So, credits also to her mother, who was a teacher of fine arts. as well as her feelings through visual art. We saw, as what the reporter said, that she was completely immersed in herself in the activity she was interested in. Of course, ang mga activity nga na, ang mga art dara, painting, drawing, muna ang sculpture. So she isolated herself from her surroundings and delved into her own world and thoughts. So sa padayon niya nga pag-focus sa iyang mga obra, she already isolated herself from her surroundings. Then, in the beginning, the girl showed high self-confidence in her work. But soon after entering school, her confidence began to decline. So ano kaya ang reason? Maybe she observed na may mga estudyante pagid nga mas mayad siya or may ara man nga ng pwede makatubong-tubong sa iyang skills. However, regardless nga nag-lower iyang self-esteem sa nagsulod sa eskwelahan, she had a strong support at her home, of course, which sa iyang mama nga visual teacher sa fine arts tug sa iyang family man, which proved that in the environment and in circumstances in which she could trust into her artistic preferences, she did not expect constant supervision, guidance, or approval from her surroundings. So doon na mag-o siya pag sulod niya sa eskwelahan kay hindi parehos ang trato sa iya sang iban nga learners, ang pagsuporta sa iya mga teachers sa iya kaysa sa nakikita niya sa ila balay, which is completely nga naintindihan sang iya mama ang iya situation kay teacher gani siya sang fine arts. So she mainly contacted the people she trusted when she needed such contact. So wala gid siya nagapaghalubilo sa iya iban nga mga classmates kung ara sa siyang classroom, pero kung may kinahanglan wala lang gid siya nagahatag sang contact. It turned out that Maha proved to be hypersensitive, so in both a positive and a negative sense. She was very concerned about the welfare of the weak, example, injured animals, and sensitive to incomprehensible criticism. So, ano siya, ng hypersensitive. Positive, in a way, nga may care siya sa animals, siya palibot. But then negative, in a way, nga may incomprehensible criticism siya. Though hindi niya maintindihan or hindi niya ma-process ang mga ginathrow nga criticism against sa iya. Though feeling ginatake niya bala as negative. So the latter caused Maha to be unwilling to accept guidance from people who she believed did not understand her needs. So wala na siya nag-accept sang guidance sa mga people nga nag-criticize sa iya kay gintake niya ina as negative. However, she maintained trust in people she believed knew her field of interest. Example, parents niya, especially her mother and preschool educator, because they had strong arguments for advice and gave her support. So, wala man gyapon niya na kuha iya trust sa iya mother kay muna ang nagasuporta gid iya sa iya kay naintindihan guro sa iya mama iyang situation, as well as ang iyang preschool educator nga naghatag man siya sang strong support. So we believe that her supportive family environment undoubtedly had an important influence on her creative activities. So ang ginahala-gina nga incomprehensible criticism, amo ni siyang example ho, iya situation. In the first grade, children learned how to use the template ruler in geometry for the first time. So, dre na belong si Maha sa first grade children. Isa sa da. So, na-learn ko na nila ang template ruler in geometry kung paano inigamiton. For their homework, pupils had to draw different geometric shapes. So, ginpa-drawing sila sa geometric shapes. Instead of using the template ruler according to the teacher's instructions, Maha used it in her own way and drew many different animals by combining different geometric shapes. So, as you can see, grabe ang iyang very advanced iyang thinking when it comes to making visual art. But then, para naman sa iyang teacher, siguro, dapat i-follow giyang instruction kung anong paggamit sa template ruler in geometry. Munang gina-expect sa iyang teacher. However, syempre, grabe yung advanced ability. Yung lain niya yung ubra, like naghimo saya sang or nagdraw saya sang different animals, pero gin-combine niya tayo itong mga different geometric shapes nga ginpa-drawing lang gid sa iyang teacher nga muna lang gid different shape, pero siya ginhimo niya as animals ang tong different shape makan muna advanced iyang Then Maha enjoyed the task very much. Siyempre, it was drawing mathematics that she liked. She implemented the use of the geometric tool, but she also expanded the exercise with her idea. Gin-expand niya lang iyang idea sa paghimo sa ilang project. However, her teacher did not find her geometric solution suitable. Hindi mabaton sa iya teacher nga ginlain niya ang gitudlo sa iya. And Maha's work was used as an example of an improper use of the geometric tool. Maka nyo na, example sa iya nga teacher, ang iya obra nga improper use of the geometric tool. So, kung kamo dabe, kung like example kamo sang teacher nga wala sang nga sala ang inyong obra nga hindi dapat tularan, what would you feel? Di ba kalain sa feeling? Okay. So, the girl accepted this as a failure. So, gin-accepted niya as a failure. Gin-bato niya criticism as a negative way nga siya failure. So, the next day, she began to complain about headaches that would prevent her from going to school. So, nagniraso na siya nga masakit akong ulo, hindi ko mag-eskwela danay. It's because gani, hindi niya mabato ang incomprehensible criticism sa iyang teacher. So the problem was solved by the parents' explanation of Maha's stress to the teacher. However, Maha distrusted the teacher for the rest of the school year. O, maka niya na, wala niya na trust, wala na sa naghatag trust sa teacher for the rest of the school year. It's because wala na nabaton ang criticism sa iya. Kaya she believed ang mga gifted learners sa visual art they believe nga kaya ginila or they are competent enough sa maghimo sang visual arts. So this distrust led Maha to start rejecting the teacher's suggestions and demands in all schoolwork, even in the fine arts lessons she liked most. So, gina-reject na niya, tanang ginapobra sa iya, wala na niya gin-try iwat. So, that's how disappointed she is sa incomprehensible criticism na ginobra sa iyang teacher. So, throughout the rest of the school year, she relied only on her mother's opinions and suggestions. Siyempre, naintindihan siya mama ang iyang situation. So, figure 4, sa Maha, 7 years old, demonstrated her frustration by drawing emotion portraits on the edge of her notebook where the demanding task made her stressed. So as you can see, may mga siyang ginapaan si Rania Ho, may mga drawing sa kilid. It just shows nga natak-an siya mag-answer sa mga muna nga bagay. But kung drawing niya, nanamian siya. Frustrated siya da. Okay, so balikan natin ang guide questions. So, naintindihan niyo ang story ni Maha? Okay. What do you think are the difficulties faced by Maha? Miss, sino man sa senior? Sige, ikaw na lang.
First, the difficulties she faces she isolated herself from her surroundings at first.
Okay.
And although she had a high self-confidence, but later on, nadula yung confidence kay nga daan ang mga tao sa school hindi suportado iya talent, unlike sa ila balay kay si mama niya naiintindihan sa kay fine arts teacher si mama niya. Also, may aral sa sang sensitive and incomprehensible criticism si Maha.
Okay, very good. As you can notice, Gina, like hala ni Rika, ginman, gin-isolate ni na iya kaugalingon. It's because gusto na gid mag-focus siya ginaubra nga which is visual art. So, muna ang difficulties or challenge dira sa mga visually art gifted students. Though hindi na sila wala na sila nakikipag-socialize, kung kinahanglan na lang, muna na lang sila makipag-socialize. Aside from that, difficulties man ni Maha nga mag-trust sa other people aside sa iyang mother. Though nag-depend na lang siya bala sa iyang mother kung anong decision sa iyang mother, muna na lang. Kaya syempre, ginapakita man sa iyang mother nga nang siya na lang ang masaligan kay syempre daw siya na lang bala nakaintindi man kay Maha nga situation. Tapos next, challenge kay Maha is that hindi siya maka-process mayad sa criticism nga gina-throw sa iya sang iban, especially sa iya teacher kagina. As you can notice, ginpaobra siya sang siya teacher sang tong mga shapes, pero ang nag-drawing siya sang animal composing sa mga shape nga ato nga iya nga ginobra. So muna gusto ni gidya lapawan bala ang mga common nang bala nga ginapaobra. That's why gin-criticize siya kag hindi niya mabaton. So gin-decline niya nga gin-decline ang ginahatag na chance sa iya nga teacher. So what do you think are the challenges of her parents in raising her? Miss Rochelle?
I think the challenges of the parents of Maha for raising her is it is hard for them to push her to socialize with other people. Syempre ang trust niya is for her mother only. Kag na culture shock sa sadong sa ganang sulod na siya sa grade 1 na siya. No?
Oo.
Kaya dolain na ang environment niya sa ilabalay dito sa ilo classroom.
Okay, very good. So muna, though ang challenge diri sa parents is that though hindi na nila bala ma-develop ang ilang nga bata nga maging independent. Though nag-depend na lang sa ila, it's because sila lang ang ginahatagan sang trust sang bata. Kaya hindi man makaintindi ang iban mo sa iyang situation. So hindi na nila mapa-socialize sa iban ang bata. Muna ang challenge dira sang parent. So, what are your suggestions to all parents who have visual art gifted child? Mr. Ricky.
For me, my suggestions to the parents that have a visual arts giftedness is, as a parents, we need to support our child that have a giftedness in a visual, and also dapat mangin paintindi tagil sa aton kabataan niya kung ano aton ginatudlo as well as sundon naman kung ano ang ginatudlo sa aton teachers sa school.
Very good. So that is a very amusing answer coming from Ricky. Kung kita maging parents ulihi kag may mga visual art gifted child kita, let's teach them nga hindi maghadlok nga makipag-socialize, and as far as we can ipaintindi ta sa ila nga okay lang nga makabaton criticism, hindi gid ipag-take seriously. Kay ang mga criticism muna pagid ang makapa-improve sa aton. Let us support them and make them feel na important sila sa aton. So, naintindihan na ang challenges sa visually art gifted children with parents? Okay, very good. So, paano pala i-handle sa teachers naman ang mga visual arts gifted learners? Para sige na may conflict kay ang teacher criticize niya ang bata without considering her situation. Nang mo lang ginhatag ng gituya example ya si Maha nga sala iya obra. So that is wrong, everyone. Teachers kita dapat we should consider everybody's situation. Let's promote inclusivity in the classroom. So, paano ni pala i-handle some teachers? So, there are 6 ways teachers can do in handling visual arts gifted learners. So, first, please read, everyone.
Encourage exploration, challenge them, provide external creative outlets, help gifted students learn as they go, pursue mentoring opportunities, involve the parents.
Okay, thank you. So, first, let us go to the first way of teachers can do in handling visual art gifted children. So, encourage further explanation. Who can read? Miss Liza?
As your gifted student to research an artist associated with an upcoming lesson, including information about the artist's life, style, techniques, and various works. You may choose to have the students present the information to the class or just use it as insight as he or she works through your planned lesson.
How do you interpret that, Miss Liza?
As your gifted student to research an artist associated with an upcoming lesson, including information about the artist's life, styles,
Okay, it's okay, it's okay. You can take your seat. Okay lang. So, when we say encourage further exploration, you need to, as a teacher, you need to challenge them. Siyempre gifted sila, di ba? So, you need to make them further explore sa mga bagay-bagay na of course gifted sila, pero hindi man nato masilingan tanan bala nila. So we need to encourage them na mag-explore pa. So one way is to research sa mga information sa artist life, style, techniques, and various works. Kag pwede sila dira maka-reflect kung ano pa ang ila need i-improve or may i-develop pa sila sa ila own nga techniques or styles sa ila nga paghimo sa visual art. Dira in that way makatch mo gid ang ila nga attention. So muna man lang ang aton nga one role man lang naton sa pagiging teachers that ma-hook nato ng interest ng aton students, di ba? And more importantly, maging effective kita nga teacher sa ila. Next, please read, Miss Ellen.
Help gifted students learn as they go. Ask them to keep an art journal to get down notes about the lesson they worked on. What worked and what didn't, preferred materials, and etc. Review challenges they encountered and what they learned.
Okay, so kung mag-lesson kita sa Iladabe, for example, we can help this visual art gifted students by giving them an opportunity na mag-jot down sa mga feeling nila, wala nila na-learn, kag feeling nila mas effective kung muna yung imo-himuon. Let us, as a fan of student-centered classroom, dapat gid naton i-consider kung ano ang mas effective sa atong student, gag ang mas hindi effective. So, review challenges they encountered and what they have learned. Dira naton mabalaan kung diin kita nagpalya kag kung diin ang mas effective sa aton. So, 3. Challenge them with new materials and techniques. Please read. Rita.
Challenge them with new materials and techniques. When possible, provide more advanced materials for your gifted students, and once the rest of the class is up and running, introduce them to more difficult techniques than the rest of the class is using on the same project.
Okay, so how do you interpret that, Miss Rika?
As a teacher, it is important that you know how to challenge your students in hindi ka lang mag-focus sa isa ka technique, dapat ma-add-on ka pagin. O kumbaga, hatagan mo pa sila sa more difficult techniques para mas ma-challenge pa ang mga student na maging mayad sila giftedness.
Okay. So given nga gifted sila gani, they display an advanced potential in visual art. Dapat as a teacher, para hindi sila ma-bored, you need to hook their interest sa pamaagi nga dapat i-challenge mo pagid sila nga sa imong nga mga techniques nga gamiton sa pagtudlo sa ila. Like, for example, if gan pa drawing mo the rest of the class isang ano lang dabi, isang balay lang dabi, or ano pa dira, mas komplikado pag ang imo ipahimo sa ila.
Okay lang na yan, na ilayin ng mga gifted student, ilayin ng mga iyan ang practice sa ano ng student.
Yes, it's because one of their characteristic is that grabe yung ilang advanced ang ila balang ng ano gid ilang rapid balila pag-develop sa ilang mind about sa visual art. So kung hindi naton paghimuon nga hindi sila bala ma-challenge, madali ang student ma-bored. So okay lang na iya nga nang sa isa dabi ka classroom ang imoy paobra sa mga sa ordinary mo lang nga student, simple lang, tapos iya complicated. Kay muna imo technique nga gamiton para ma-hook yung iyang interest, para hindi siya ma-bored bala sa klase. Kay may muna nga gifted mo, muna ilang gifted gani sila, madali sila ma-bored kung wala ka challenge mo pagtudlo na. So next way, please read, Mr. Lee.
Pursue mentoring opportunities. Consider pairing your gifted artist with a local artist who can work one-on-one with your student and provide a unique experience perspective. You also might suggest after-school tutoring or art classes. Your student can use your class time to work on the projects they have been assigned from their outside lessons.
Please explain.
Aside from giving some materials sa aton nga students, because they are gifted in visual arts, we need also to have a mentoring or some ginatawag ba lang another kind of learnings nga mag-teach sa ila. For example, like tutoring, something.
Thank you so much. So, kung may mga kilala man lang kamo nga like professional man sa pagtatap sa mga muning student, for example, visual art man ang iyang field dabe or professional na sa about sina nga field, you can work with them para mas matudluan pagid ini nga mga bata, para mas ma-improve pagid or ma-develop pagid ang ila skill sa visual art. O you can work with a local artist who can work one-on-one with your student and provide a unique experience or perspective. So one way of teaching them is to pursue mentoring opportunities. Next, please read, Ms. Rochelle.
Provide external aid with outlets. Provide your gifted students with information about local art camps, community art groups and events, and local art exhibits, and encourage them to participate. The more exposure they have to different styles and the more opportunities they have to practice their craft and the better.
What can you say about it?
Mag-provide kasi information sa inyong students about sa mga local art. For example, sa mga museum art din sa ating nga lugar. And then sa mga events also, sa mga art groups and events. So dali sa mga local na mga art exhibits. Kay pag-encourage
encourage mo sila nga mag-participate. Kaya ang mga pinaka-explore mo sila, madamong ilang mga na-learn nga different styles and makahatag kang opportunity sila para mag-practice ang mas better na craft.
Okay, that's an excellent explanation. So, you can provide or you can give your students the opportunity nga mag-explore pagin better sa mga local art camps, especially hala ni Rochelle sa mga museum naton kay may mga history kita about sa mga arts bala nga pwede nila ma-incorporate sa ilang knowledge, current knowledge para mas mapa-improve pagin nila ang ila style sa pag-drawing or by doing visual arts. Next, last but not least, we have involved the gifted students' parents. Miss Liza?
Involve the gifted students' parents. Make sure they are aware of their child's artistic talent. A simple phone call or email will do to inform them. Ask the students' parents to help you nurture their child's talent by encouraging at-home projects and research, exposing them to museums and cultural events, and enrolling them for additional art classes, camps, and programs. So, para kung sa mga gifted students, so kailangan ko no i-involve ang ilang parents na para daw as support na lang siguro sa ilang kung ano pala ang talent sa ilang mga bata. Then, as nang hindi siya bala pag ng support, siya bala nang i-encourage siya pero may saya nga mga gusto nga obrahon, tas nang i-explore siya sa mga museums or cultural events ay para doon ma-enhance pagdidiya nga talent.
Okay, very good. So, muna, i-involve din natin ang parents. Especially kung may mga parents, gitya nga wala kabalo sa situation sa ilang mga bata. So, sometimes, ang mga teacher, muna pa sila ang nakaka-find out kung ano gid bala ina nga klase ka bata, gifted bala ina, may disability bala ina, or learning disability, something like that. So, as a teacher, it is our role also or responsibility nga ipabalo naton sa mga parents. One simple call sa ila nga muni ay na-notice ko sa imo bata nga muni nga nang do advance ila ability diri. So, tell them na suportahan ninyo sila sa ilang chosen medium or kung diin man sila mas advanced, suportahan natin sila kag help them explore pagid sa mga buta nga pwede nila himuon for their development.